Excel budget tutorial, how to create a budget in Excel. Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the channel. I'm sure all of you have used Excel once in your life previously. However, if you are familiar with Excel, you'll know that it has a ton of tools to make your life so much easier. One of the cool things that it has is the ability to account numbers. So if you are building a budget or an expense sheet, Excel is fantastic and it's all automated. And I'm going to show you today, right here, right now, how to do this in a matter of minutes. So the first thing you want to do is open up an Excel spreadsheet, and this is what it looks like. This is the online version. However, if you have the Excel app on your desktop, you can also follow along. You can also use Excel, Microsoft Excel, on your mobile device, and you'll be able to do pretty much the same things. So the first thing we want to do is, up at the top of this page, you will see that there is a book 3. Now, this is the name of your document. And right over here, we are going to put in a budget, and this budget is for, let's say, 2023. So as you can see here, we can just hit enter, and you will now have a new name for your file right over there. So the first thing we want to do is we want to start building our table so that we can actually see all of our data in an easy to read format. So the first thing we're going to do here is we are going to give this a heading, and we're going to give it the same heading as we did previously for our sheet. So we're going to say budget 2023, and then we're going to move over and we're going to start giving this budget some categories. So the first thing we're going to have a look at is monthly expenses. So this is basically what you spend each month, and it is either a variable expense or it is a fixed expense. So what we're going to do is we're going to combine the fixed and the variable expenses. So as you can see over here, we are having a heading monthly expenses. The next thing we're going to put in here is the month by month. So we can type in here January, February, and now what we want to do is we are going to highlight January and February. You're going to hold down shift and you're going to just highlight those two. And what you can then do is, if you let your cursor go over to the little dot on the bottom right hand side, you can now click down and you can drag, and it'll now create the rest of the months, as you can see over here. And you can just continue to do that until you have all the months of the year right in over there. Now, as you can see, you have all your months set out. So now you can budget on an annual basis. Of course, if you would like to budget on a monthly basis, this would change. So this budget 2023 would be budget January 2023, and then you can put in monthly expenses, and then you can maybe put in your days of the week, or you can put in a new entry every single time you have some money spent. But for now, we're looking at on a 12-month basis, as you can see over here. Now, the next thing we are going to do is we are going to enter in some monthly expenses. So let's say perhaps we've got rent, and then we have a car payment. Let us say perhaps we've got a medical aid, we have a phone bill, we also have internet, and so forth. Now, these are things that happen on a monthly basis. The next thing that we're going to have a look at is, if we go over to the right hand side, we're going to skip this row over here, and we are going to now put in here non-monthly expenses. Now, basically what you see here is your non-monthly expenses will basically be things that you pay annually, or things that you pay twice a year or 3 times a year. So for example, we're going to just put in there subscriptions. So you can have your different subscriptions there depending on what they are. So we can have subscription 1 over here, and then we can also just put in subscription 2. And as we go down, we can then just enter the appropriate subscription names. So just for example's sake, I've got subscription 1, 2, and 3, as you can see over here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them the exact same format as we've done here on the left hand side. So you've got all your months going down here, and if we open this up like that, we can now put in an amount just over here. So You've now got your amounts, and you've got your non-monthly expenses, and you've got your monthly expenses. So this is where we actually start building what we're actually doing here. So first of all, we want to take this and we want to highlight all of the months as well as all of the monthly expenses, and you maybe want to do 1 or 2 extra rows highlighted. Now we're going to go in and we're going to format this as a table. And if you see this icon over here, it says format as table. We're going to click down on that and we will now have table options. So as you can see here, you have a bunch of different options, and I do like to use perhaps something with a bit of color in it so that I can understand it better and it looks nice to work on. So it says the data from your table is in the following range, and it gives you the cell range. You can also now tap on my table has headers and then click OK, and you will see that it'll actually create headers with the information that you already have in your table. And as you can see on the right hand side here, my non-monthly expenses I've actually just put in a table as well, and I've done it in a different color simply because I want to separate the monthly and non-monthly with a color code. Now as you can see here, we've now built up this table, and now we can start putting in information. So the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that all of the cells that you see highlighted here are in the same format. So we're going to go up here to the little dollar sign over there, and we're going to drop down this menu and we are going to look for more accounting formats. Now once you've opened that, you can now change all of the cells formats into currency, as you can see right over here. You can now also change the decimal places and the symbol. So looking at these symbols, we're going to go down to United States, and you can also change the way negative numbers show up right over here. So it's either in red or with a negative sign before the number. Once you're done, you can just tap on OK, and everything in here now you will see will be in your currency format. Now let's say perhaps we want to extend this format again as we did previously. You can see the little dot on the bottom right hand side of the cells. You can just hold down and pull it down to where you need it to be, and now all of this is actually in the same format. So let us enter a couple numbers in over here, and we are going to now just see what we can actually do with this budget. And so I've entered some amounts over here, and as you can see, we can now total this. So what we're going to put here is total expenses, and in the next row, we're going to put total income. So basically what you're going to see here is your expenses versus your income. Now, another thing that you can do is, in actual fact, you can change this total income to different incomes. So perhaps let's say you have a sideline business, so you can say main income, and then on the next row you can actually say your secondary income, or whatever the case may be. So if you're running more than one business, you can then put it in over here. So we're going to go ahead and say main income and secondary income, and now we can total this up. So the way we do this is we are going to select the block that we want the total in, and then we're going to look for the sum, auto sum icon over here, and we're going to tap that, and as you can see, it now takes all of this information and it puts it in the total expenses. So let us say, for example, over here our main income is $500, and as you can see, it is just 500. What we can do now, we can actually just take that and we can just enter in those formats over there. So our main income over here, we're going to make 500, and our secondary income, we're going to make $200. Now, as you can see, your total expenses is $450. Then you have your main income and your secondary income, and here we can put in a total income. So what we can do now with our total income is we can accumulate the main income and the secondary income. So what we're going to do is we're going to tap equals, and we're going to go up and we're going to tap our main income, and then we're going to hit the plus button, which is that, and then we are going to select our secondary income, and then we are going to hit enter. Now as you can see, if you tap on that cell again, that $700, you can see up over here the formula. So it tells you that it's B11 and B12, and that is the total that you get over there. Now what you want to do is you want to enter in a balance, and your balance will be your total income, which is this one right over here, and you're going to minus your total expenses. So what we're going to do is we are going to select the balance over there, and then we are going to say equals, and we can say our total income, and then we are going to say minus our total expenses, and we're going to hit enter, and you can now see we have $250, which is our balance, and that is a positive number. So if it was in a negative form, it would have a minus before it, or it will be highlighted in red. Now, one other thing that we did not consider within this transaction, and you can do this if you would like to. So what we have over here on the right hand side is our subscriptions. So again, we want to format this table exactly the way that we did the first table. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit the more accounting format, and once we go in there, we can choose currency, and we can just change the symbol there and into United States and say okay. And let's say we've got a $20 subscription, we've got a $50 subscription, and we've got a $40 subscription. Now what we can do here is we can say total. Now this is an annual total. Perhaps let us take into consideration that all three of these subscriptions are paid annually. So we're going to select where we want the total, and we're going to hit auto sum, and it will take these amounts and it'll auto sum it. Now let us say perhaps we would like to take this amount and divide it per month so that we can have it in our budget. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our cell selected down over here. And as you can see up over here, it shows you the formula. So your subtotal is your 109, and then it says that's P4 to P7. So what we're going to do is we're going to tap in just over there. Now that sum, we are going to divide by 12 months, and we're going to hit enter. And as you can see here, it has taken that total amount, that $110, and it has now divided it by 12. And as you can see, if you select that cell again, it actually shows you the formula. So this $9.17 we can actually enter in over here, and we can put in over there our non-monthly expenses. So right over there, you can see that that is non-monthly, and we can enter that 917 right over there. So now we know that each month we have to budget $9.17 so that we can have our total for the non-monthly expenses. So when that subscription payment comes along at the end of the year, or whenever it occurs, then you have budgeted for that. And as you can see, that number will automatically change your total expenses. It will also auto change your balance. Of course, it won't affect your total income and your secondary income. And of course, that is because that is an expense and not an income. Now, additionally, what you can do here is you can put their savings, and you can put whatever you'd like from there. So if you'd like to put an amount in there, you can. You can also make it a percentage, but whatever your balance is, you can have your cell over there, and you can say equals, and then you can say that divided by 2, and that is now your savings. And whatever is left over, you can either spend, you can treat yourself, you can put it in a separate savings, you can put it away for a college fund for your kids, you can do whatever you want with that additional money. But this savings over here, you can have maybe savings 1, savings 2, and all these rows and columns will obviously change depending on what your savings accounts are for. And this is a nice way to really lay your budget out and actually see what your expenses are, and see how much money you can save each month and each year. And at the end of the year, you can maybe do something with that money, do something valuable with that money, and you can actually see what your money is doing for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave us a like, subscribe to the channel if you like our content, and we will see you in the next video. Cheers for now.